Good evening, folks. I'm really excited about this show that we're going to have today. Let me adjust myself. Hope you guys had a great weekend. And we're going to get into the foolishness today. So I'm really excited about this show. Um, I actually have a special guest, man. We're going to talk about boxing today, man. Get into that boxing, right? So before I get into that, let me get my water. You know how I do. Oh man, this special guest that we have coming today. Well, let me see. He must have got off, but we'll work that out. But this guy that's gonna come on today, man. He knows 100% about this boxing game, man, and we're gonna talk about it because all this YouTubers stealing the bag, right? Let me take off these glasses. See a little glare there. But anyway, so first off, you guys who's watching, let me know if everything is right on the screen. All right. So this is what we're going to talk about today. Bam. UFC versus boxing. Pros and cons. Right. Also, we're going to talk about today who is a better defender, Floyd Mayweather or Pee Wee Whittaker. Yes. And what is your thoughts on YouTube boxers? Are they destroying the industry? Right? So just bear with me a little bit. And also, if you want to talk about this, the NBA, whose fault was it in the Philadelphia 76ers loss? Ben Simmons or Doc Rivers? Now, what you can do is you can give me a call on 516-387-1664. All right. So, real quickly, I want to give you my thoughts on everything. But before I get into that, I want to tell you about my weekend. I had a great weekend. I hope everybody had a great Father's Day weekend. Okay. Now, me, what did I do this weekend, man? I was hanging out Saturday. I live in South Georgia. For the people who's just checking in, just hit that like button on YouTube. Hit that subscribe button. Get them likes up, please, so we can get this video out. But anyway, so I was kicking it with the family on Saturday. It was my son's birthday. We actually went to an amusement park. Now, I ain't going to an amusement park in years. I didn't get on any rides either. Right, but so we was hanging out. That was a good time. Sunday, I ain't do anything. I just got a chance to hang out. I watched the game. I was really excited about the Atlanta Hawks. Because after all, I'm in South Georgia. I'm trying to get to a game or two, right? But give me a second, folks. Just make sure my guest host is on. Let me see. All right, 1 second. Oh, well, I don't know what just happened there. Okay. Well, we'll work it out in a minute. All right, so anyway. So we're definitely going to talk about this boxing game here. Now, my thoughts, I do like YouTube boxing. I do. I paid the money for the Mayweather fight. Now, I didn't think that he was going to do anything crazy. I didn't think I wanted him to knock out Jake Paul, but I knew he didn't want to mess up that bag. Now, imagine if he would have knocked him out. I'd have messed up so much money. Right? Absolutely. Now, boxing went down to me when people start making all this money. Now, obviously, back in the day, fighters wasn't making a lot of money. You see a lot of people a lot of promoters ripping these guys off. You had the media, you had the mob. I followed Customato for years. And I read his book. And he said the mob went into his boxing ring to take a bag. And he stood up for it. Now, the first pay-per-view ever, now you can fact check me on this, but the first pay-per-view ever was in the 60s. Now, there was a company called Teleprompter. I'm pretty sure you guys are familiar with that. And the teleprompter was when it started with the soap operas because they were forgetting their lines. Right? So, they started the pay-per-view game. A lot of people didn't know that. And then they merged with cable companies in the 60s and 70s when cable started taking off. Now, one of the first pay-per-view fights was Floyd Patterson. Now, the person who blew up pay-per-view, as we all know, is Muhammad Ali. With Don King, with his brilliance, definitely puts respect on his name. The Thriller in Manila. seen all across the country, right? So that blew it up. Muhammad Ali was getting paid. Then you had in the 80s, Sugar Ray Leonard. Now, this is when I got introduced to boxing. My dad was an avid boxing enthusiast. Don't get it twisted. My father, man, he watched it all the time. But anyway, now I remember Mike Tyson talking about when he fell in love with boxing, and I'm gonna talk to that story in a minute. But when I fell in love with boxing, it was watching, Sugar Ray Leonard fight Hagler. That was the first fight that I watched, and I just remember the buzz around it. Just remember the front row, all the celebrities in the 80s was there. Boxing was huge. Hit that like button if you watched boxing back in the day when it was huge. Now, I believe, let me get this off the screen right here. Give me a second. So this is what we're talking about here. Now, I believe boxing was the first sport ever. Before any time, before people start shooting in hoops, the fight. The first time somebody swung on somebody and then the crowd came. Boxing is huge. Let's talk about Mike Tyson. That's when a lot of people fell in love with boxing, was Mike Tyson, because that brother was knocking people out in the first round. People spending their hard-earned money on Mike Tyson. Now, Mike Tyson was a trouble guy, as we know. I read his book. He was a street dude from Brownsville. Getting in all type of trouble. 11, 12 years old, getting bullied. One thing he said, though, hurting people brought him love. Can you believe that? So when he got into his first fight, after that kid killed one of his pigeons, he beat him up. Then he realized he could fight. He was bigger than everybody. So the guys in the hood start getting him to fight, and they paying for it. Everybody paying for the fights. Oh, man, give a shout out to my cousin, Terry, watching. Yes. Give my cousin a shout out right here. Bam. He's a boxing enthusiast as well. Shout out to Terry. So anyway, now I'm back on it. Mike Tyson. He began fighting in the hood, getting in trouble, start sticking people up. Gets arrested. Now he's in these group homes. Now, in this particular group home, for the people who don't know, they used to box with the guy the counselor. So Tyson boxed with him. And they realized Tyson had a little skill, but he was raw. That's right. Shout out to Swanee, my man. He was a little raw. So, can you hear me okay? All right. Thought it went out. But anyway, he gets into it. They saw the skill. The counselor could not box with him anymore because he had two black eyes, and his wife told him to stop boxing with him. But he told Customato about him. So Customato saw him and he said, no, there's no way this kid could be 13 years old. Changed boxing. They didn't let him box again until they saw his birth certificate. So then at this point, Mike Tyson was in the hands of Customato, the legend. Prior to that, he had 2 champions before that. If anybody leave a comment, I forgot the guy's name. It was a Mexican, I believe, and it was Floyd Patterson. If you notice, when he boxed, he did the the peekaboo style as well. But Muhammad Ali, my favorite guy, stopped him. So anyway, I digress. So Tyson start working with Customato. Now Tyson was a Grammy dude. He was Grammy. All right. Shout out to my sister Darius. He watching on the check-in. I heard why Mayweather slowed down boxing. Let us know. Let us know. So anyway. So Tyson began boxing. Now, what he thought, because he started living with Customato, he was like, look, why do you want me? He was thinking about robbing them and going back to Brownsville because that's how he was. Grammy. But he saw something in him. He saw something in him. And then, Tyson, he didn't think he didn't want it, man. And I was talking to a friend today about it. Like, he just wanted to get back. He didn't believe someone would love him that much. But anyway, he started winning fights. He started knocking people out in spectacular fashion, like he would say, moving up through the ranks really fast. Now, this is one thing I loved about the fighters in the past, because he fought 35 times in 1 year. Not these days. They don't fight. Right? So, they don't fight at all. So anyway, back to it. So Mike Tyson gets on the scene, and this is in between stage where Muhammad Ali retired, 81, getting his brains beat in, becoming broke. Then you had, what's the boxer's name? Man, it slipped my mind. Tell me who got the jab? The jab. I'll look it up in a minute. Larry Holmes. Larry Holmes was running things at that point. So anyway, I'm gonna jump to Mike. Mike had the run, but the thing that messed up Mike, Customato died, and the thing was, Mike was still getting into trouble, but they was hiding it. Teddy Atlas was the top trainer at the time, training him and training all the guys in the ring after school. So there was many a times where they had a rule that if anybody get in trouble in school, they don't train. But he made an exception for Mike Tyson. Now, one time Mike Tyson allegedly grabbed the girl in class or in the bathroom. And Customato didn't say anything to him. So Teddy Atlas is like, whoa. So then, one time, allegedly, Mike Tyson grabbed a little girl that was related to Teddy Atlas. And Teddy Atlas put the gun on him. Shot in the air. Pow, pow. Tyson ran. So Customato wanted it so bad because he knew he was going to die soon, but he let that go and kicked Teddy Atlas out of there. Now, Teddy was hurt, and I truly believe if Teddy was still been in his life, Tyson would have been one of the best boxers ever. So he dies right before Mike Tyson gets the belt. But this is the time where Mike Tyson, boxing was it. All the stars was going to see Mike Tyson at that time. But Mike Tyson was self-destructing. At least what it saw in our eye. But then we had the fight. I'm jumping. But with Spinks. And Mike Tyson even stated when he won that championship, that was the end of his life pretty much. He didn't know who to trust. Now, he won that title, he get everything he wanted. He imagined somebody who was screwed up in the head get everything they wanted. Then Don King came. Robin Givens and his mother. Crazy. Then that happened. Boxing is booming at this point. Pay-per-view box office. Then Mike lost to Buster Douglas. It's crazy because I was reading a book with Bobby Brown. Apparently, Bobby Brown was there in Hong Kong or wherever he fought that fight, and he wasn't training Mike Tyson. He was in the bed chilling with a bunch of women, and it was 3, 4 in the morning. Mike Tyson getting it in. And Bobby Brown looked at him like, "Hey, don't you got to fight tomorrow?" He's like, "Oh, he's easy. I'm gonna get him." And he loses. Now that was now I ain't gonna say hero, but that was my guy at that point. But boxing was still banging. So what I want to ask guys, what happened to boxing? You call in at 516-387-1664. Or you could go, if you're on YouTube, look in the description and click on it. You can tell me what's going on. But what happened to boxing? Now I got some notes here that I want to talk about. All right. Give me 1 second here. But honestly, for me, I feel like boxers, it's hard to get up and run when you're sleeping on silk sheets. Now, I'm a UFC guy, and everybody who knows, who's listening, I am that guy. I'm a UFC guy. But in my opinion, boxers do not want to fight each other. First off, there's too many weight classes, right? Too many. There's like 17 weight classes, right? Then you have 4 different belts. So that's like 64, 68 champions that's going on right now. That just reminds me of something where everybody gets a trophy. It's ridiculous. Nobody fights each other. Nobody. See, back in the 90s, in the 80s, and the 70s, all the big fighters fought each other. And Swanee, you're right. They're scared to lose. That's one of the things. They're racking up all these wins to make them look an illusion like they're really good. It's ridiculous. The exposure is horrible. One thing I like about UFC is they have a channel where you can watch UFC every week. It is a dictatorship, no question. It's a dictatorship. But maybe that's what you need. You know. But anyway. So it's just amazing to me how boxing is they just don't care. You know? Now I am going to watch what's that one? Wilder's going to fight Tyson Fury. I am going to watch that. I am interested in that. My cousin Terry and I was talking about it the other day, and you know, I want to see the trilogy. Now I think Wilder's going to get smashed, but I do want to see the trilogy. Give me 1 second. I have one of my guests supposed to come in. Hold on. So anyway, now and just the '90s was amazing. The '90s, man. You had Holyfield, man. Put respect on Holyfield's name. Holyfield's a bad boy. Yeah, Lennox Lewis. Who else was on that year? Riddick Bowe was a bad boy. You know, it's just amazing. Now, so Swanee says, "Why they're going to get him this time?" I doubt it. I doubt if it happens. I mean, because like the thing is, with that situation, he got rid of his trainer. Like the thing I don't like about Wilder is he's making excuses. Just take the L. Take the L. First off, he said his suit was too heavy. Come on. I heard Roy Jones Jr. say, you know, that was his fault. Like he said, Roy Jones Jr. used to play basketball and rap in case you forgot before the fight. Making excuses. Then he said the trainer drugged him. Hey, are you serious? The trainer? Then he said the gloves was messed up. Man, listen, man. Wilder's done. Now, I wish Wilder would have fought Anthony Joshua. I think he would have had a better chance with that. You know what I'm saying? But I think he's done. And then the trainer that he has right now, he lost to Wilder. So, you know, and then there's no way. Like one thing that he found out, what I'm talking about, is Tyson Fury when he got up from the dead, because he was dead. He lost that first fight. He was backing up on his feet, and he realized that Wilder couldn't fight backwards. So now this fight, he said he's going to go up to 300 pounds and just attack him. So I believe Wilder's done. I mean, he had a good run, but, you know, he didn't have to learn any skills. He didn't have to learn any skills at all. You know, he just had that one-hitter quitter pretty much. You know, and he did great for the sport of boxing, you know, and I love the fact what he did. But he's done. But here's the thing with this, too. When you're looking at with boxing, back in the day, if you was a heavyweight champion, you was the baddest man on the planet. That means you could beat anybody in the world with a fair fight. We don't even know who the champions are today. It's boring. Boring. You know? Now, like I said, there's 68 champions in boxing. I'm going to show this clip real quick, and I want to see what you think about this clip real fast. Give me 1 second here.
And I want to say this right now about the sport of boxing. I don't want everybody at home to hear me when I say this. A belt, I'm tired, and I'm at home, and this goes for any company. I don't care if it's Top Rank, if it's Golden Boy, if it's Mayweather Promotions, if it's PBC. There's too many champions in the sport of boxing right now. Too many champions. It's not a such thing as a super champion, not at all. And I'm not taking nothing away from no fighter. It's too many belts. And the reason why is too. Let me tell people what's going on in the sport of boxing, why there are so many different titles and so many different belts. People don't know you have to pay for every belt that you win, there's a sanctioning fee. So now if a fighter wins an interim belt, he has to pay a sanctioning fee. If a fighter has just the regular belt, he has to pay a sanctioning fee. Then if a fighter is a super champion, then he has to pay a sanctioning fee. This is not good for the sport of boxing. When now when a fighter fights, every fighter is a champion. Now after you see no belts is like a fighter winning an amateur trophy. Everybody is the champion. Everybody have a belt. Now we look at the lightweight. So we can't keep talking about guys. This guy is a small guy. To be the best, you must take risks. You must take chances. And if it takes going up in weight or going down in weight, that's the sport of boxing. That's how boxing works. All these belts is like trophies. The WBC, the WBA, what the IBF and the WBO, y'all gotta clean it. Y'all gotta clean this shit up. Y'all have to clean this up. This is bad for boxing. Ain't there such thing as no super champion. You guys are just taking extra money from all these fighters, getting extra money from sanctioning fees. And this goes for my company as well. We got to clean the sport of boxing up. This don't look good. When you look on TV now, everybody's a champion.
Get that out of there. Yeah, man. So that's what's going on here. You ain't just hear from me. You heard from the baddest man on the planet. Now back to him. I put respect on his name for getting that bag, beating up Logan Paul. Well, he ain't really beat him up. It was just an exhibition. So for me, I'm for exhibitions. I'm gonna pay for it the next time it come on. It was just entertainment, you know. But that's why I mess with the UFC. You know, Dana White is a bad boy, a bad dude. Like far as selling, he sold the UFC because back in 1994, you know, when UFC came, you know, was founded, it was barbaric. Like you had to get those videos on a Blockbuster. Like they was doing anything, ripping nuts off, punching in the ball. It was crazy. But one thing I respect about him is he cleaned the sport up. And what blew them up, because like I said, you always need an antagonist and a protagonist, right? Was Tito Ortiz and what was the fighter? Slipped my mind, I can't remember. Chuck Liddell. That blew them up. And they kind of remind me of like this is how I equate it. Yep, Swanee said, Floyd, it's right, definitely. I equate boxing with UFC is like Jay-Z and Nas. Nas was clearly the better rapper, in my opinion. You know, it's up for debate. That was my guy. But he never really put out an album. He wouldn't put out albums. He was number one, especially when Biggie and Pac died, and Big L, and Big Pun. Give me 1 second. I think one of my guests is trying to come on. Give me a second. Hold on 1 second. Shout out to my boy James. All right. So anyway, my boy James, man, dope with the hands. Let me tell you. All right, well, I'll get back to that. Got my caller calling in 1 second. Hey, how's it going today?
What's going on, Josie?
Yeah. How's your day going, man?
I'm out here enjoying this rain. Not.
It's raining.
Yeah. But
Okay.
I was just looking at that thing with Floyd saying he was
Oh, you
you
kind of
know
broke up. Say that again?
you ever see Rocky 3?
Yeah, I did.
I said fighting all them weak fighters and stuff. You know, they're doing the same thing. They're just attaching belts to it. Paper champions.
It's funny you say that. I thought about that. You're totally right. So, what you mess with? You watch boxing, UFC, or both, or what you got to say about it? You think boxing's
So
dying?
I think that boxing is dying, but I think that the entertainment aspect has a little bit of life. So the actual sport, the actual professional skill thing of boxing, that's done. But if you want to go out there and make a spectacle of yourself, then you can make some money, and that's where Floyd, master marketer, he's getting in and getting out.
Did you watch boxing in the 90s?
Yes.
Who's your favorite boxer?
Man, I like Tyson. I don't think I was a kid. I don't think I knew as much about boxing, but I just like seeing, Tyson knocking people out all day.
Facts. I didn't
I,
even care, man. Like it was minute, 2 minutes. One of those things, man. I mean, I remember. Shout out to my aunt. She used to have fights at her house, and that brought us together. She had this big, heavy. I don't know if you remember back in the day. They had these big, heavy TVs. They were huge,
yeah.
big as you know what I'm saying. Ones that you don't want to. If you move, you just gonna leave that TV there because it's just too heavy.
Hmm. Yep.
And yeah, she used to always get the pay-per-view fights, and that's one thing that brought us together. And I remember we watched I think it was the first fight of Mike Tyson and Holyfield, just when he got out of jail when he was that Muslim. You remember that fight?
Right.
Yeah,
I,
that brought a
I
lot
was
of
wondering, like, what's that thing over his eye?
mm, mm. Now we have a caller in the queue. Just hold on for a moment. So, do you remember? So you're saying that boxing is dying, right? Now, do you mess with UFC or you don't? You think it's too barbaric?
I I like USC and what they're doing from a business perspective, but some a lot of them broken arms and legs. It gets a little too much for me.
Mm, funny you say that. I was watching what last week, and this dude snapped this
But I
dude's.
did. You know what? I say that, but I watched the first two tournaments that they had, the Ultimate Fighting Championship, and that was about as gory as you can get. They
Now,
didn't have classes or anything.
I was about to say that you had this skinny dude fighting a sumo wrestler. I wasn't messing with that. I mean, it was good to watch though. But yeah, wasn't there this guy who I think he was doing submissions? I think he was in jujitsu, and he was just submitting everybody, big, small. Do you remember that? I think I vaguely remember that.
I don't know, but all I know is that the main two dudes. I mean, yeah, maybe Gracie.
Mm.
He might have been getting some submissions in there.
I want to ask you a question. All right,
Yep.
seem like you know a little bit about boxing here. All right, who is a better defender, Floyd Mayweather or Pee Wee Whittaker? Remember Pee Wee? Yes,
You said Floyd or who?
Pee Wee Whittaker. You know who Whittaker is?
No, I don't. So,
Uh, okay.
but when is he from?
Like 80s, 90s. I believe he fought Floyd Mayweather's uncle. Uh, that was an epic battle, but I think Pee Wee got it. Yeah. Okay.
I heard some things about Roger.
Yeah. Was it Black Mamba? Hit me with the comments. Is it Black Mamba? He was the Black Snake or something. He took too many hits. Yeah. Swanee says Sweet Pea is the better defender on there. Okay. Yeah. So, all right. What do you think about this? Now, do you watch basketball? I'm just
Yeah,
throwing everything out here on you. All right.
yep,
Did you watch the game yesterday?
yeah. I watched some of it.
Okay. Whose fault was it that Philadelphia lost? Ben Simmons or Doc Rivers? In your opinion?
Well, I never thought about it from a coaching aspect. I easily want to blame Ben Simmons, 5 points in the game, but in the big scheme of things, it's definitely a coaching thing. This is game 7. You should have had your team ready. They didn't even look like they wanted to be there.
Well, what about do you think they should trade him? Think.
Doc or Ben?
Well, they're not. They're going to keep Doc. You know, Ben.
Yeah, it's about that time. I think that there's a possibility that Ben may need the chance to grow somewhere else. Just look at the difference of what happened when Jimmy Buckets got out.
Mm-hmm.
He just exploded. I mean, maybe not so much this year,
Yeah.
but prior years he's been going off.
Mm. Now, if you're watching on YouTube, definitely hit that like button and subscribe and notifications. Get those likes up for me. All right. Can you hang out for a little bit? Put you on hold for a minute.
Yep.
All right. One moment. Caller, where you calling in from?
Hey, I'm calling in from Georgia.
Okay. Have you what you think about the topic? Have you been watching the show?
Yeah, I've seen a little bit. I heard the topic about the boxing, boxing being boring, and then the one you just recently asked your last caller about Philadelphia.
Mm-hmm. What you want to talk about?
I think we should talk about Philadelphia.
Okay, what's your thoughts on that? What you think about whose fault
Uh,
was it, Ben or Doc's?
I mean, we could blame Doc, but the game was close, which means that missing free throws isn't Doc Rivers' fault. If like you can only tell someone so much. He can go and tell Ben Simmons go shoot, stop, go score, which I'm pretty sure he did. But if he don't want to score, he's not going to score. You know,
Right, right.
so I
So,
mean, I don't blame the entire loss on Ben Simmons because he's just one person. But I mean, like like the pedestal we was putting him on, like there was. You ever see the one cover of Slam magazine where they copied LeBron's classic cover and they
mm-hmm,
used Ben Simmons instead?
mm-hmm.
We can't be putting him on a cover, copying LeBron James, and you putting 5 points, zero free. He had zero field goals in the fourth quarter. What are
Yeah,
you doing?
yeah, yeah. Oh, did you see that pat when he went up for the? He had a layup, open layup, and he passed it. Close
Yeah,
pass.
I saw that live. What are you doing?
Man, I don't know.
You're the biggest man on the court, and he's playing like he's like 5'10". I don't
Yeah,
get it.
and see, I saw Shaq talk about it, and he was like, he got to man up because he is an all star. He was getting what 14 to 18 points a game. But here's the thing: when you're in the playoffs, they change their defense on you. You know,
Yeah,
and they don't respect his jump shot, so they don't spread the floor when when he's in. You know, so
yeah.
and he has the ball most of the time. You know,
Oh,
so I feel sorry for Doc Rivers, though. I'll tell you that, man, because he's just been folding after folding after folding.
yeah.
You know,
You give him the best batch of players. They gonna be out before the finals. Just know that.
right, right. So yeah, so who you have in this series coming up with Milwaukee, Milwaukee
Um,
and Atlanta.
I think if I see the Hawks win one, I'll definitely shift my odds a little bit. Like if I see Atlanta win game one or game two, I'm like, okay, they could actually win. Um, they showed me that with the Sixers, but then again, I could be coaching. But they're definitely not a team to be slept on. Like I don't think you can just let off and take foot off the pedal because they do have Giannis and they got some good defenders too. So
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we're gonna see, but I I want the Hawks to win, so I'm aside with the Hawks. So yeah,
I think Milwaukee gonna smash them.
yeah, like it should. But if they don't, like if they don't, then I'll be surprised, but I'll be happy too. You know.
Mm. So what time LeBron play?
All right. This is a great talk. I had fun talking to you. You're very informative. Nah, it's cool. It's
Yeah.
okay because this playoffs is still entertaining. It's even more entertaining than I thought it would be. So I'm not disappointed.
So who you think right now is the best in the league? Not in the playoffs, just in general. Think LeBron's still the best?
Um, probably not. That's in the league right now. I don't know. That's kind of hard because I don't think it's Giannis.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say Kevin Durant, but they just lost.
wasn't his fault though, right? And that what you say about LeBron?
Uh, nah, it'd be LeBron's fault. But I mean, I think it was. I don't think it was Kevin Durant's fault, but the last shot he took was very stupid.
Yeah, yeah, it was. Yeah, I think he should have drove to the hole and shot it. But so I guess he got to get the blame because he is the leader of the team.
Yeah, yeah, that's just how it works. You know, the Bulls lose, they blame it on Jordan, and the Lakers lose, they blame it on Kobe. That's just how it is.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah. So right, right. So what about the West? What you think about the West going on over there with
Man,
Clippers,
Devin Booker is playing on a different level right now. The level he should be
Bucks?
playing at, though. Like I think it's been, he's actually been playing at that level. He just finally has good people around him. Like he didn't have any like real good players around him. Now you got Aiton and Chris Paul, and I feel like it's just like icing on the cake now.
Mm. So you think I'm assuming you're rooting for the Suns, not
Yeah,
the Lakers. I mean, not the Lakers, the Clippers.
nah, I'm not rooting for the Clippers. I'm rooting for the Suns.
You don't like playoff P?
I'm good. I'm not a fan. I haven't been a fan of like Kawhi Leonard and whatever team he's on since he was defending LeBron and when on the Heat in like 2012 or 2013. I think it was 2013.
Oh, when he was playing for the Indiana.
No, when Kawhi was playing for the Spurs and he was
Oh, the
he was
Spurs.
killing LeBron, like defending him.
Mm,
So
mm, okay, right, right. So do you know a little bit about boxing, UFC, anything?
um, I know like surface level stuff. I know what's going on now. But as far as like back in the day, like I know stuff like basic knowledge like Thriller, Manila, stuff like that. Mike Tyson biting off ears, like stuff like that. Like everyone knows.
Mm-hmm, hmm. All right. Well, what you think about? I mean, I'm pretty sure you know this. You sound pretty young. What's your thoughts on YouTube boxers?
Um, I think it's the only way boxing is gonna get coverage. Like there's like three boxers. Like I won't even say three. Like off basic knowledge, when I don't watch boxing, like someone who doesn't watch it, I know probably like two boxers. I know Canelo, and I know that dude Ryan. He's like a real popular boxer, but it's like if you're not an influencer,
Garcia, Ryan
yeah,
Garcia.
Ryan Garcia, yeah, if you're not an influencer, and you don't know how to promote a boxing match, no one is going to watch you.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And
Okay.
YouTubers are literally made for promotion. They know how to get you to a video, and if they know how to get you to a video, they know how to get you to the show, and they know how to make money. So I mean,
Now, do you think the Paul brothers could fight? You think, or you think this is a hoax?
nah, they could actually fight. They could there's you could tell the difference between confidence. Like they're actually fighting. Like they're actually doing the work. It's not. It's just because they do YouTube that everyone seems like people are like, they're just doing it for views, stuff like that. That's just because they do YouTube and they've done stuff like that. But they seem to actually know what they're doing.
So why wouldn't they fight a real fighter?
I don't think they're probably just not as confident in that yet. I feel like the way they're doing it is smart because they're just fighting the most popular people. Like it's like sort of like they're okay, they see your audience and like, okay, how can I get his audience? So then they go to that person, attack that person, like you won't fight me, you won't fight me. So then after the fight, they got another audience.
Mm. I mean, look like a sad show, man, like a sad show, Bob. Don't you think? I mean, you had
Yeah,
Lamar Odom fighting 6'10",
yeah.
fighting some singer.
He was sagging. They said he was the first person they
He
ever
pulled
saw
his
sagging
pants
in
up and
boxing
start
fans.
and just kept on punching.
I think they're just having fun. I don't think, the Paul brothers are living to be as big as Floyd in boxing. I don't think their goal is to be a Muhammad Ali. I think they're just, trying to have fun and,
This is
create
like
wealth.
celebrity. I remember my cousin Terry was talking about this. It's like a celebrity death match. You ever watch that on
That
on
show's great. That show's
yeah,
great.
you got Peter Guns. I don't know if you know him
Hmm.
fighting. He's 50 something fighting another guy that was on Love and Hip Hop.
I mean, Oh, who? I mean, I don't think they would do it if there was other people doing it. But it seems like they don't have big enough names in boxing. Like it's like this is the only way boxing is gonna get coverage.
But here's the thing, though. Boxing still there's still a lot of money in boxing, and why I say that is 25 the last year or two, I think. Was it a year? I don't know the exact number. Somebody can fact check me, but um 25 of their last pay-per-views got over 1 million views,
Hmm.
and two UFCs only had like 15, I believe.
Oh,
So I think this is a lot of facade. To be honest, like I said, I think like the story I was telling earlier. I see you in the queue. Just give me a second. What I was saying earlier, Nas reminds me of boxing. You know,
hmm.
at the purest form, and Jay-Z is UFC to me.
Oh,
You know,
so they say like how one looks better, but it's not actually better.
right? Oh, Swanee, right about that one. Vincent Crawford. This is what I don't like about boxing because they never fight each other. They never fight. Like the top dogs never fight. That's the one thing I don't like about it. It
I
took
think that's why it's not as big. I mean, I guess it is according to your statistics, but like when you watch UFC, you see the best people on the fight card
yes,
all the
they are.
time.
They're like UFC is like Master P of of boxing. Like
Great,
Master
great
P,
analogy.
Master P used to come out with an album every month. It was getting the bag, but the music was trash. I mean, I used to like it back in the day. Don't judge me, but I try to
Hmm.
listen to that now. I was like, oh, I gotta turn this
Nah,
off.
it's
You know, Terry, funny. Yep. So, um, but yeah, so I used to I think like because Jay Z he was so consistent with the music that was coming out when
yeah.
when Nas wasn't really coming out with records, but he's just clearly a better rapper. And I feel like with UFC they're always in your face. You know, um, but a lot of the UFC. This is what I think fighters need, or just combat sports.
Hmm.
Like back in the day, like I'm trying to figure out what the wrestler that Muhammad Ali emulated. But ever since he did that and start selling those fights, he people wanted to see it. People like
Yeah,
controversy.
they don't
Even like
sell
when
no
he
more.
right. Even like when Muhammad Ali he changed his name and half the country wanted to see him get beat on. He was so cocky and you know, people
Sounds like
paid
Jake
for that.
Paul.
Yeah. I think Jay Paul took that model. That made me think, man. I wonder if Floyd Mayweather is in on it, man, because once Floyd, he start being Money Mayweather,
Yeah,
people start hating him, right? And as a result of that, people was paying to see him lose. I remember I wanted him to lose a few fights. I wanted De La Hoya to beat him. I remember I paid for that. But
yeah.
I went to somewhere to see that one, and then I wanted Sugar Shane to get him. Sugar Shane hit him with a serious punch, but yeah, I wanted him to beat him. You know,
Whatever result happens though, you still spent money. I think that's the thing. As long as you spend the money, it's a win. But to be honest, when I think of UFC and boxing, like you said with the Jay-Z and Nas thing, UFC reminds me of Marvel movies and like superhero movies where they're selling a character. And it only like it's always gonna sell. Every Spider-Man movie you ever put out will always sell. And then boxing is like a movie that's like an original script, like Martin Scorsese or Quentin Tarantino, where they wrote the movie. So it's like they're not using characters, they're not using comic books, they're using their own ideas. And so that kind of reminds me of that. Like UFC, it's like come see someone get their leg broke. Come with it's fire, explosions. Put on an amusement park show, and then the other boxing is just like the basics. Come see who can get hit the least type thing.
There's definitely an art to it, and boxing enthusiasts know, but you gotta. We want to see knockouts and different things like that, man. I mean, that's why the NBA changed.
Yeah,
They wanted the open floor and more scoring. Like studies show that more scoring is the reason why people show up.
yeah. I mean, you see
Um,
Curry. Curry's like his jersey sells. LeBron, Duncan, and alley-oops just jersey sells. Like Tim Duncan can't exist in this time no more.
yep. And one of the champions right now, there's like three Nigerian champions in the UFC, and
Yeah,
Israel was the other one, Francis
Usman.
Usman, yeah, Usman, and Usman, he just have no personality, man. I wish he would market himself a little bit better, but that boy could fight, you know.
He's a robot. Like he just does it.
Right, right. Well, Paul's got it,
Israel.
man. Go ahead, I'm listening.
I was gonna say Israel. He's very like he's very like out there. Like he puts on the show. He embarrass you. Like just take your manhood away on the in the octagon.
Mm, yeah. All right. Well, I appreciate you, man. I'm ask you one more
Hmm.
question. Then I'm gonna get back to the other caller real fast. 1 second.
Okay.
All right. So you sound like you don't really know too much about boxing. So I'm gonna ask you anyway. Who's your top five boxers of all time?
Do I even know five boxers? I don't. I think I know like
Man, had a little technical difficulties there. All right. All right. There we go. Swanee, what's going on?
What's going on, man?
Oh,
There we go.
everything, man. Everything. How was your day going?
Oh man, day's going good, man. Hold on. Here's some background real quick. Here we go.
Let me see.
Can you hear
Can you
me?
hear the background? Yeah, I hear you good.
All right, good. Yeah, day's good, man. Rainy Pittsburgh.
Mm, yeah, man. How was your Father's Day, man?
Oh, it was good, man. Just relaxing.
Mm.
Yeah, just sat back and relaxed, man, with the family, man.
You have to do any grilling? I'm trying to
Nah,
make me a grill.
we yeah, we wanted to, man. We end up not even grilling nothing.
Mm.
So we'll do it next time. I got the grill out the backyard, so I grill anytime. So
Okay.
how about you? How was your Father's Day?
Oh man, it was good, man. We went to the little park down here. It's kind of like Kennywood, but it's something like that. I had my ponchos because it was raining. It was my son's birthday, so we
Hmm.
went out there. Then yesterday I ain't do nada. I ain't do anything. Chilling, you But I
That's
need
what's up.
much needed rest, man.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So what you think about boxing, man? You think it's dying?
Yeah, man. Everything you talked about was right on point. The video what Floyd was talking about,
Hmm.
he he's right. Everything he said was true. You got all these WBA, WBO, IBF, all these fees they're charging these guys, and that's why these promoters, they part of the problem too. because nobody is wanting to fight. Everybody is scared to lose. Everybody think they can go 49-0. You know what I mean? Some of the best fighters in the world, I can get to my top 5 later, but the best fighters in the world lost fights.
Yeah.
And, they're ahead of the game. You know what I mean? But these new fighters, it's like reputation. They scared to get punched. They scared to get hit. They scared to have a black eye. All of it, man. So the game is different now, man. It's a shame.
Yeah. Do you think it's partly because of a lot of these old fighters is punch drunk? You ever hear them do an interview? I be hearing about Vlad TV, man. It's horrible. Can you hear me?
What's that? I hear you.
Now I was saying a lot of these fighters are punch drunk. The one that came in the 60s and the 70s. You think that's part of the reason they're trying to protect themselves from any head injuries, or you think it's just something else?
Nah, I don't think it got nothing to do with that, man. I just think they just too pretty and you know what I mean, too soft. Boxing is a sport that, you know what I mean, like you said earlier, me watching Hagler and Hearns was like exciting for me. I wanted to go outside and just box somebody because just watching that fight, it was exciting because they're all into it. The first 3 rounds was amazing.
Yep.
And then grow up in the Tyson era, you know what I mean? Just knocking everybody out. And that made the sport great. And then watching the highlights because we weren't born yet, the Ali fights, man, he was the best. He is the best.
Yes.
And, all the fights he fought, you think about concussions with him. All those guys back in the day, man, they went out and fought. With the Floyd Patterson and those guys, they fought, 1,000 times?
Yeah. Yeah, Sugar Ray Robinson.
Yeah, Sugar Ray Robinson, yeah.
And I remember Tyson talk about, he said 1 year he fought 35 times. Like,
wow.
And now you lucky for him to fight once.
Once in 5 years, twice in 2 years or something, or the 3-4 years.
Yeah, I mean that's one thing I do like about UFC because they're obligated to. It is a dictatorship pretty much. They're not making as much money as boxing. However, they have to fight at least 3 times a year, and they can opt out of it. But I know one thing that they give incentives. Like football. Like if they give over 1,000 yards, they get a bonus and different things like that. I think in boxing they should. It's just my opinion. I think they should shorten the rounds to 10 rounds. And also I think they should give them incentives that night. So
Yeah.
like if it's a event, pay extra money for the best knockout or something like that. That's what the UFC does. Like the best submissions, the best knockouts, the best show. So every time that I watch it, man, it's a show. That's why I like it. I just got onto it probably last year with the pandemic because it was always on in the face. It was on ESPN, and
Yeah, definitely.
and all the cards are good. Every single card. When when boxing come on, I don't come into the last fight like it's boring. Just my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with exactly what you said. UFC has been, always that entertaining sport. I mean, you got guys, the best of the best, just fighting each other at all the time. And just seeing that brings entertainment to the sport. They might not be getting as much money as the boxing world, but they give it their all. They're willing to lose 3, 4, 5 times, but they get back up and go back in the training room and go right back in the ring. And I give them all the credit in the world. They got more respect for I got more respect for them than like a Spence Jr. and a Crawford. These guys are ducking each other. You know what I mean? They're trying to make $100 million in one fight. Just fight.
What is going on with that? That's another thing. They start fighting, they just dance around for 12 rounds and don't hit each other. It's just I think it was Tyson that said it. He said, what did he say? He's like, it's hard to get up and run when you're sleeping on silk sheets. You hear that? Ever hear that?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like all these people are rich. Why would you want to take a punch if you're rich? I don't understand. If you see Conor McGregor, he ain't fighting no more. He got his little whiskey. He'd be like, buy me whiskey, me whiskey. You know, he just keeps saying stuff like that. So, you know, so what you think about that? I am interested in that fight though.
Which one?
Wilder
Oh, okay.
and Tyson. Who you got?
What I've been watching a lot of Waters, on YouTube, his fight hype thing on YouTube. Where everybody sleep, we working. Where everybody sleep, we working. So Wilder's trainer, I know they fought before. It's just crazy, man. Hopefully he ain't got no excuses. You know what I mean? I root for Wilder only because he wants to get back in the ring and fulfill that. I believe the contract ahead in their contract that they can fight the third time based on whatever complications or whatever it was, the reason why he cheated the second match, whatever it was. I just want to see him get in there. And I was telling one of my best friends, Jeremy Hicks, Hollywood Hicks, and we was talking about this, and I was just saying, listen, if Wilder get in there and fight, and he wins, he's gonna get the money. Everybody's gonna want to fight him. Everybody gonna want to fight him. But if he loses, he's done. He's done for good.
Facts. I just don't see. I mean, I agree with. I want to see a good fight. I do. But Tyson, man, he I think he just got his. Some people just got his numbers. Styles make fights.
Yeah.
This is my opinion. And I saw when he got up, I saw the same thing that Tyson saw. When he started charging him, he couldn't fight on his back foot.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it takes years to learn how to change your style up because again, you've been knocking people out for 10, 15 years a certain way. And it's hard to change. Your footwork is not that great, from watching it. But he still have that equalizer, that punch, So
that ain't gonna do it.
You think?
Listen, if he can't back up and box, man, he's done. And I watched at least 2 or 3 of his trainings. His trainings are all still the same. His stance is very wide, and Tyson Fury, he's going to come ahead and box him. Wilder, he's backing up. He's going to get knocked out again. And I hate to say it, but I'm rooting for Wilder. But if he comes in with that same style, he's going to get knocked out, man.
Yeah, because I saw his he looked real good on the pad.
Yeah,
everybody swinging at him. But I'm telling you what Tyson's going to do because he's going to try to get to like 300 pounds. He's going to put his weight on him.
Mm-hmm.
Dude's fighting at 220 something, 230. He's going to put that weight on him, man. But I did want to see Tyson fight. Well, this would if I was Wilder, I would have fought what's the other guy? Anthony Joshua.
Joshua.
I think he would have took him out. He should have fought him and maybe stayed away from Big Boy, but maybe fight him later. But I think he should fight Anthony Joshua now. That's another dude that's ducking everybody.
I know.
Anthony Joshua. Boxing sucks, man.
Is boxing dying? Yes, because these dudes are I don't know where they hiding that.
Man, I know my cousin was telling me that they got some big dude. He's like knocking out like Tyson, but I don't know. Like I said, I digress. So, have you watched the NBA a little bit?
Yeah.
Okay, so whose fault you think it is with Ben Simmons and Doc, or somebody else?
Nah, that's. I mean, Doc is. He's partially responsible because of his game plan. That's first and foremost. It was a close game, like the previous caller mentioned. It was a close game for sure. But so that falls on Ben, man. I mean, you got to step it up, man. You're looked at as an all-star. He is an all-star, and he just couldn't take over the game. You know what I mean? And take those shots, and you got an open layup and you pass the ball. I mean, you don't do that in the playoffs. You're going to lose when you do things like that. And so that got the fall on the team as a team effort. They should have been encouraging him to step it up. They didn't. So it's a team. If you're going to point the finger, you got to point the finger at the whole team. Period.
Man, what do you think about Doc Rivers throwing Ben Simmons under the bus? Did you see that interview?
No, I missed the interview. He threw him under the bus.
Yeah, he threw him under the bus because they asked him like, is he a good point guard to lead the team? And he basically said, I don't know. And you know, when you don't answer, that means you answered. You know what I mean? So he didn't. What's the name? The tall center. Forgot his name. Abib or something like that. Well,
Who, Howard?
No, the starting.
Oh.
Abib. Is that how you say his name? He was talking. They asked him too, and he basically clearly said when he went up for that layup and didn't shoot that layup and passed it, he's like that was the game, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they should part ways with him, man. Or I mean, I don't understand. Like you're in the NBA. I don't want to talk crazy because I'm not in the NBA. You know what Kwame was talking about? Call people bums, but man,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Like you've been in the league for 4 years and you ain't working on your jump shot.
Yeah.
What kind of stuff is this?
Yep.
You know, like
he did a J.R. Smith. And LeBron was like,
hold up 1 second. I gotta give me 1 second.
Yep.
I gotta send this stream out real quick. Somebody trying to get on here. Oh man, but yeah. So who's your top five fighter
Of all time?
Mm-hmm.
Well, not in no particular order. But I'm gonna say Muhammad Ali, Cassius Clay, whatever folks want to call him. I'm definitely gonna say Joe Louis. I'm definitely gonna say Mike Tyson. I'm definitely gonna say Floyd Mayweather for sure. Fifth spot, I might have to give it to. I'm gonna say Sugar Ray Robinson.
That's a good list right there. That's a good list, man. What about top five that you actually watched? What you think about that one?
Top five? Well, definitely. You got. I'm gonna say Sugar Ray Leonard. I'm gonna say Hagler. I'm gonna say Julio Chavez. Well, no, he's up there, but I'm taking him out. Ray Leonard, Hagler, Tyson. I'm gonna say Roy Jones in his prime, and I'm gonna say. Let me see, man. It's so many. I like Sweet Pea, man. I like Pernell Whitaker, man.
Yeah, Sweet Pea was a bad boy. I mean, I caught him on the tail end of his career, you know. But yeah, he was a bad boy.
Yeah, definitely.
Did you like Trinidad? I really ain't get into Trinidad. I heard he was dope. I mean, I saw.
Yeah, he was all right.
When he lost to De La Hoya.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Trinidad was old when De La Hoya fought him. You know, as they always say, oh, he fighting when he's old. In the boxing world, in the sports world. But Trinidad was dope. You know, in his prime. You know, he talked a lot of stuff. De La Hoya got him. You know, at the time that he was in his prime. Trinidad was declining. But Trinidad definitely was. He was definitely dope.
Man, yeah, my bad. I was somebody trying to get on. I'm trying to send him the link, but I don't know. But yeah, man. I appreciate you getting on. Let me see. You got anything else you want to? Trying to see here.
Nah, man. Just continue to do what you're doing, man. Great show. A lot of great topics, man, and I hope people tune in and get down, man.
Oh wait,
get down, man.
I can't let you go yet, man. What you think about the YouTube boxing?
YouTube boxing, man. This is an entertainment opportunity. These are opportunists, you know. So listen, if anybody out there, got a camera and want to go in a backyard somewhere and they end up knocking somebody out, either on accident or really knocking somebody out, they getting pushed. Oh yeah, you should go fight, Mike Tyson. You know what I mean? They get hyped up, they go fight somebody else. And to make a long story short, man, it's entertaining, and which is really bleeding the truth of boxing, the true sport of boxing. So it really is taken away, but at the same time, man, this industry is all about dog eat dog right now, and everybody trying to get that bag as quick as fast as possible.
Did you watch Ocho Cinco fight the knuckle boxer, the knuckle guy? He fights bare knuckles.
Ocho Cinco, man.
He had a little skill though. I ain't gonna
Yeah,
front.
he does have skills, man. I gotta give him that.
He said I watched the interview. He said he got tired and he put his guard down. Dude cracked him, knocked him out. You see that knockout?
Yeah. Ain't nothing worse than Nate Robinson though, man. Nate tried too.
Man, I had faith in him, man. I was like, Black Power.
Listen, hey man, I love all my people, man. I appreciate their courage, man, just for stepping up to even try it or attempt it. But yeah, that was just wild how that ended.
He is AWOL. Have you seen him yet?
I haven't.
Oh man, but yeah, they get in the bag, man. But I appreciate you, man. I'm hit up the next caller. Thank you for support, man.
Yeah, always, man. Thank you.
Man, that was a dope conversation. I like that. Yo, you there?
Yes, I am. That was amazing. Swanee dropping that knowledge.
Swanee brings the heat. Hey, and if you still watching Swanee, I remember when you caught that was that a touchdown in the playoffs, man. Game winner. I remember that. It was a game winner. He went over top like whoop. He got his little Jerry Rice on. I remember that.
Oh man. Here's a wide receiver.
Yeah, I remember that, man. He scored the winning touchdown in the playoffs. You know how many people want to do that, man? I remember that.
That is legendary.
Yeah. I'm trying. I'm having crazy technical difficulties. I was trying to get. Can you hear me? Okay.
Yes, I can.
Oh, okay. Yeah, man. So I don't know. Did I ask you about what you think gonna happen with Wilder? He's fighting. I think it's July 24th.
Well, I think that Swanee pretty much covered it. Like these styles, and Wilder. He hasn't really experienced someone to like really get in his face like that. He's always been the bigger dude, pretty much the bully almost. And Fury, that's the bigger dude. So he's going to get in his face, and he's going to do what Swanee said, going to probably knock him out.
Hold on, give me a second. I'm trying to. But you can hear me okay, right? Is it loud or is it? I need to raise it the mic.
It's fine. It's kind of low, but it's all right.
Technical difficulty. But anyway, yeah. So, are you still intrigued with YouTube boxing?
It's intriguing. Real quick about the I also want to see. I want to see the Gypsy King sing. I want to see him bring a guitar out, do his best impression of Elvis or whoever he like, do that. But the YouTube boxing, I think that it's amazing what they're doing. I think it's legal. It's legal robbery if you get the right person in there. I would love. I wish I was a pro fighter. So that's the easy way, easy money.
Now there's a conspiracy video out here stating that Floyd knocked Jake Paul out. Do you believe that?
So this is the one where they said, he knocked him out and he held him up.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I do. I do believe that.
Did you watch the whole fight?
Yeah. Yep. I mean, if you replay it and you got to slow it down just to see it. You got to figure when someone's knocked out, it usually just tingles through their body, their legs drop, and then they end up losing that function. Floyd held him up.
Now, I agree with you. I agree with you on that. I think I mean, that's the same thing that happened with Roy Jones. Remember when he fought? I think Tyson held him up a few times or stopped punching him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it's
Yeah.
a money grab, but I enjoy it.
I mean, these guys know what they're doing. They protect their investment. Tyson had a lot of cannabis riding on that fight.
At the ranch. Yeah,
Ooh.
yeah.
Smell that skunk from miles away. Smell that skunk from over at Kanye's ranch to ranch.
Now, if you're still on YouTube, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Now, do you want to continue watching old fighters fight? First, before you get into that, you see what Mike Tyson looked like right now?
No.
He looks very old.
Are you talking about now compared to January, or you're talking about January?
Now compared to January. I mean, he's letting his hair grow out. He looks very old.
Oh wow.
He looks like a grandpa now.
I'm kind of selfish. Here's what I want. This is what I really wanted whenever they fought. I just had that inkling of hope that Tyson was going to knock Roy Jones out. That's what I wanted. Because the way Tyson went out, you kind of feel like that little mouse off of Tiny Toons. You're like, say it ain't so.
Yeah, I agree.
I want my hero. I just want him to get one knockout, one good knockout. Who doesn't want to see that?
All right, hold on real quick. I got a caller coming in. He's the most anticipated guest that we have, and I was waiting for him patiently, and I'm excited to have him on real quick. Jimmy X.
Hello. How y'all doing, man?
What is cracking?
Man, what's going on, man?
The infamous.
My avatar was keeping me busy, man. This little guy here has not allowed me to do anything but take care of him, man.
I get it, man. So,
Yeah, but I got
so
him
what
situated.
while I give me a sip of my drink, H2O. Have you been watching?
I've been watching a little bit. Yeah, I've been on maybe like 10 minutes. Last 10 minutes.
I'm gonna get you up to speed in 1 second. So, what do you think? Is boxing dying?
I think it's changing. I don't think it'll ever die, but I think it's changing. I think with the YouTubers, it's changing with all these exhibitions. It's changing a lot, a lot.
Okay.
It has to change.
Why do you say that?
Well, you got a lot of people that's in it, not that's inside the ring, but you got a lot of fat cats that can control who we can see and who we can't see, and that model cannot survive anymore. My son looking at me like he a grown man. Like why you saying that, bro? I said the model can't survive no more, little boy. Because back in the day, it's only television, pay-per-view, and live. But now you got YouTube out there. So what's happening now is the power brokers, the fat cats, they used to pick the ranks and show who they say is best. That may or may not be what it is, but that's what it was. But now you got people who can just like it's a little guy named Ryan Garcia. I don't even know if he has a belt, but I know who he is. And there's guys with belts. I don't know who they are because Ryan Garcia is on the social media. He's on YouTube, and I'm a YouTube consumer. I eat up YouTube, so it's a different world. It's
Ryan
a whole
Garcia,
different
he's
game.
on Golden Boy promotion. I think that
He
has
on
anything to
Golden
do
Boy
with it or?
promotion.
Mm-hmm.
Does he have a belt yet? I
I
don't
don't
even
know.
think he got a belt.
Let's find out. Let me look. But go ahead. I'm listening.
But even though he may or may not have a belt, I know who he is. I'm watching him. You see what I'm saying? So those guys, those big guys like Bob Arum, the guy that used to manage Floyd before he became Money Mayweather, people like that, they don't have the total control over it like they used to. And
Hmm.
so the game is changing.
He's ranked number 3 in in the lightweight division right now.
See, he's lightweight, right? No
Yeah.
belt, ranked number 3. But I know his first name, last name, best punch,
Mm.
left hook to the body. You see that? See how this changed? I don't even know who's the lightweight champion of the world. I don't know. I know Ryan Garcia. Well, how come I know that?
Mm. So
Game's changing.
I mean, there's about what 4 weight classes or 17 weight classes. There's four
Yes,
different divisions, right? Is that how it goes?
it's almost 5, and then you
Okay.
got you got national divisions too. You got 4 major governing bodies, and then there's one more on top of that, the fifth one, and then you got like you can have a national belt too.
So basically, there's about 60 something belts.
Yeah,
Is that true?
that's right.
So everybody get a trophy. Is that what you're saying?
Oh, it depends on your weight at the time. You know, There's only one heavyweight is the king of them all, right? But once you drop below heavyweight, it's room for a lot of chance, room for about 60 champions. Yeah,
Don't you think
with
that's too
no
many champions?
presence on, huh?
How do you unify the belt? Like, how do you do that?
Well, first you got to get up to 212 pounds and be a heavyweight, which is the king of the divisions. Then once you do that, you win your championship in your first one. Then you got to beat all the other champions. You got 3 or 4 other belts to get. Once you do that, you're the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world, the king of sports. Should be.
Okay. All right. So, what do you think about YouTubers boxing?
You know what? I don't think they have any skill, but I think they're good for the business in a certain
Why you
way.
say
They
that?
bring excitement. They bring excitement.
So Lamar O. What about Lamar Odom fighting?
Yeah, get on in
6'2"
there and
fighting
get
a
your
six
head
foot.
busted.
You know he's pulling his pants up trying to box this guy, right?
Who is? You know what? I think the right people aren't using YouTube. Let me give you somebody who ought to use YouTube. What's that guy that beat up Anthony Joshua by accident?
Ruiz, maybe.
Andy Ruiz. If I'm Andy Ruiz, I would fight Logan Paul. What's Logan Paul? What's Logan Paul's brother's name? Jake Paul.
Yeah.
I would go from place to place on every social media outlet and say Jake Paul, excuse me, and Logan Paul is bitches. They can't resist. They're gonna come like to that like a rat to cheese, and they're gonna bring me viewers. They're gonna bring me money. I wouldn't stop. I get on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. I'd follow them to the nightclub and say, hey, and, he's a big guy, Mexican guy. Say I'd beat the two of you up on the same night. I would talk
Mm.
mad crap. I would say, look, you ain't shit, and your mom ain't shit. I would talk bad, as bad as I could get. And then they would give me a bunch of viewers. They would have to fight me. They'll get a bag. I'll get a bag. And everybody say, man, look out for Andy. Because I'm getting attention again. You see what I mean?
Mm.
I'm not going to sit there and wait for the WBC to give me another shot.
Mm. So you want to get on Triller? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, get on wherever I can get on.
Okay, man. So, what do you think um the fight coming up? I'm really excited about it. About a month from now,
Uh-huh.
Wilder and Fury. Think about that.
Man, that's going to be a slaughter.
Mm.
It's gonna be a slaughter. That's the dumbest thing Wilder should have ever done in his life, man. Tyson Fury got his number.
Why you say that?
Man, he has look, Tyson Fury exposed his weakness, Wilder's weakness in the first fight. He exposed it.
Mm-hmm.
Wilder, his pride wouldn't let him acknowledge that and go on with that draw and keep fighting folks and making money. He had to.
You know he won that fight though, the first one, man.
I think he won too.
That
I
count was
think he
very
won.
long.
It's a long count. I think he won too.
Conspiracy, pay attention.
But then look, the man did get up by the hand of God, I'm gonna say, and then he got up and started winning.
Undertaker.
You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And in doing that, he exposed the man's weakness. We didn't think he had. Well, I mean, except his lack of footwork skill, but he exposed his weakness. I wouldn't have fought him for another 3 years.
But what if he catch him this
He
time?
not. He caught him last time, and the
Not
man
the
took
last
his
fight.
best shot and got up. So what
Well,
if he catch him?
the second fight he didn't catch him. But what if he catch him in this fight? All he needs is one punch, man.
If he get him one punch, look, he gonna knock him down, and Tyson Fury gonna get back up, just like he got it back up last time, and proceed to kicking that ass, just like he did last time. It ain't no reason for him to fight him. The man done three things. Number one, he done exposed your weakness. Number two, he done took your best shot and got up. Why is you bothering him?
Mm. So why? So
Oh,
what's up with Anthony Joshua, man? Who's he fighting next?
I don't know, man. I think he just trying to hold the belt and do endorsements, man. He need to come on to America and talk to Coca-Cola or Pepsi, try to get him a couple of commercials, since that's all he doing, man. He don't really want to fight. He a good fighter though.
You think
Good
he might
fighter.
get I mean, because he was supposed to fight Tyson Fury, in was it October,
That's a fight.
August?
That's a
So,
beautiful fight.
so do you think that Tyson Fury is going to beat Wilder, and then
He
he's going
gonna
to
beat
fight Anthony
Wilder.
Joshua?
He gonna beat Wilder like a father beats his child. That's what's gonna happen, and it's a disgrace.
You disrespecting him like that? He's a champion.
He
He's a
was a
champion.
champion, and I think he gave up his championship when he started making them excuses, man.
He knocked
I
out
don't,
40 people. What are you saying?
man. He ain't representing Alabama, man. He is not. Because when he got beat up, he did not say, "Hey, the man whooped me. So what? I bet he
Champ.
won't do it again." He had all them excuses. Talking about his uniform was heavy. Talking about the count was long. And every my baby's smiling at me and everything else.
He forgot something.
What?
He said his trainer spiked his drink.
He said his own trainer spiked his drink. Come on, man. That ain't how we get down in Alabama, man. That ain't right.
Shout out to Will. Anthony Joshua Fury will be the fight of the decade. What you think about that? Think it's gonna be the fight of the decade?
Which one?
Anthony Joshua and Fury,
Yeah, that's fight of the decade. That's worked it.
especially because they're from overseas too. Oh, that bag is gonna be something fierce.
But I tell you what though, if I was I don't understand. That's why I don't understand Wilder. I used to be on the side. I was a fan. I really believed in him until the day after the fight. He was like, "Oh, he had some in his gloves and he hit me," and I was like, "Man, I don't support that, man."
Mm,
And then it's like, if he did me like that, I would do anything I could to get Anthony Joshua in the ring with me. I would say, okay, he got my number. I'll come back to him. I would follow him around like Shannon Briggs followed around Klitschko. I would do anything to get a fight with Anthony Joshua. I would go to the nightclub with the cameras and push him in his chest, throw a drink on him, text his girl directly pictures of my junk. I would do anything to get Anthony Joshua in the ring with me. I would do anything. Write his mama a bad letter. Anything.
man,
Dear Mrs. Joshua, your son's a hoe. Son, Big Will. But whatever it took to get him mad enough to say, you know what, it's on.
mm. So what I'm
Because
hearing,
then you got, huh?
sorry, I have to ask you this because you definitely, I love this conversation, man. You definitely know what you're talking about. Who is the better defender, Floyd Mayweather or Pee Wee Whittaker? In your
I'm
opinion.
gonna say Floyd. Got to be because Floyd got no losses. Man, Floyd make legends look like children. Floyd neutralized Oscar De La Hoya. Floyd neutralized Manny Pacquiao. Floyd neutralized Canelo Alvarez, bro. Nobody can beat Floyd.
Floyd's well, Pee Wee had some legendary fights as well, didn't he?
Does Pee Wee have any losses?
Yeah, he does.
Does Floyd have any losses?
I mean, but they're fight by fight basis, don't you think?
No, man. No, man. The man got 50 and 0. He the best ever. He the person that erased Rocky Marciano.
All right,
Oh,
so let's talk about this though, because I don't know. I'm not saying insinuating anything, but a lot of his fights went to decision, and a
yes.
lot, and the boxing industry is corrupt, right?
Yes.
So, can we really say that?
Yes, we can really say that. Because if you had the money to pay the judges, then you did good. But I've looked at all the fights. He won the fights by points.
Well, one of them when he hurt when he broke his hand in the fight, you think he won that one?
When he was fighting the dude he fought twice, what's the boy name? A dirty fighter. I don't like a dirty fighter. I know his name. If you say it, I'll know it. Huh, boy, huh? It's a Spanish guy. The guy got so depressed after.
Corrales or something like that. Is that can't remember.
No, it's a Spanish guy. I know him by sight. I know. I mean, he mauled Floyd. He did all kind of dirty stuff. He was a dirty elbow. Floyd did everything he could to cheat. He fought him twice. Hold on, let me look it up.
Trying to look it up myself.
Can you still hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah, if you look at Mayweather's record, he fought this guy twice. Corrales, I think it's Corrales.
Yeah, I
It
thought it was Corrales. Yeah,
maybe Corrales.
yeah, Corrales. I believe it's him. I thought he lost that one fight.
No, he
But
didn't
he,
lose it. He didn't lose it. And after that, he fought him again.
well, the
After
second
that.
time he destroyed him. The second time, but I think the first time
Hmm.
when he hurt his hand because he stopped throwing.
Yep. And Corrales was dirty. Dirty, dirty. He elbowing the man. Almost headbutting the man. Doing everything he could. He still couldn't get him out. He still couldn't knock Floyd out. Still couldn't knock Floyd down. Still couldn't score heavy shots. Still couldn't outpoint Floyd, even though he was cheating the whole time. And after that fight, the second fight, Corrales got so depressed, he gained weight. He gained up to like 70 pounds.
He passed away, didn't he?
I don't know. I didn't think he died.
He died. Yeah.
He died?
Hmm.
Oh, man. Rest in peace, man. God rest his soul. Sorry to hear that.
Yeah. I wanted I was rooting for well, Jab Judah. That was a good fight in the first 6 rounds. I think. I mean, he
Yeah,
didn't
man.
lose the fight. I mean, but he was losing those first rounds though.
Yeah, Zab Judah, he's a dirty fighter, too. He punched Floyd in the nuts.
He's from Brownsville, man. Put some respect on Brownsville, dude.
Man, he did that because he found out about Floyd what he didn't want to find out about Floyd.
Why he was messing with one of his women or something? What?
No, man, that when you get in there with him, he's hard to hit.
Hmm.
He's very hard to hit, and he's very in shape. Very hard to hit.
Definitely stay in the gym. That's
And
for sure.
another thing too that frustrates people about Floyd is Floyd can realize in the ring, okay, like you're coming toward him, you're doing whatever you're doing, and it's seeming like it's working. So he may have probably figured it out what you're doing by round two. He's gonna let you keep doing it to round six. Then round seven, he's not gonna let you do it anymore. That's very disheartening
So he's the
because they
finesse
built up.
master.
Yeah, about it. But in those 4 rounds, from round 2 to 6, they built up all this confidence. When I throw this, I score on Floyd. They don't realize he could have stopped it in round 2, and he's gotten to the point. Okay, I'm not gonna let you do that anymore. I'm gonna take your weapon or whatever it is you do away. Man, you can see it in their eyes. They're like, that's not working. That's not working. And here come Floyd with the little right hand pop, duck underneath it. Or you try to come in, hook to the jaw. They be ready to quit. They too frustrated. When people cheat, like bite the ear or punch you in the nuts, that comes from frustration, sheer frustration.
Ask Mike Tyson, huh?
Yeah, yeah,
So
sheer
who?
frustration.
So do you think Mike Tyson's the greatest ever? Think about Mike.
The the greatest fighter ever, I would rank him maybe number 3 behind Muhammad Ali and Sugar Ray Robinson. Swanee G named my top 5. Like, I mean, is he psychic? Because, I mean, when I was listening, I was like, dang, Swanee G, we got the same fighters, word for word.
So rehash your fighters. Who's your fighters?
Um, Mike Tyson, Muhammad Ali, Sugar Ray Robinson, uh, maybe Joe Louis. Definitely, wait, Mike Tyson, Muhammad Ali, Sugar
No,
Ray
let's
Robinson.
let's talk about the fighters that you saw.
On TV?
Yeah, in your lifetime.
Oh, I saw Muhammad Ali on YouTube video. I've seen every one of his fights.
Well, I'm talking about live, like
Oh, live?
living in the moment. Hmm.
Oh, live. That would be Mike Tyson, Larry Holmes, uh, Roy Jones Jr., Sugar Ray Leonard, and what's that other guy's name? Uh, Hands of Stone.
Why Larry?
Man, Larry, excellent. Larry should be in the top 5. I would take out Joe Louis from Swanee's list and put in Larry Holmes.
So why did he duck Foreman?
He didn't duck Foreman. Foreman ducked him.
Mm.
He didn't duck
Okay.
Foreman. Foreman
Well,
was retired selling grills when Larry Holmes was champ.
let's talk
Foreman
about
was in his
when they
exile.
came back when they both came back and Foreman became a champ in his 40s and uh who would have won? Because I remember what's his name? The guy you was talking about?
Larry.
Larry. Larry came back. He lost to Tyson. And he got his little groove back. He started knocking people out. He knocked. Did he knock out Ray Mercer?
I don't know. I think the Ray Mercer fight was a little bit later. But I don't think Holmes and Foreman were fighting at the same time. I know they had a deal to get in the ring as old dudes, and he said Foreman backed out on him, stole the money.
Yeah, I did hear that. Did hear that.
But I think Larry Holmes, great fighter. Larry Holmes' only crime, only problem, he had a curse, and that curse was you was the champ after the greatest.
Now, who do you
And
think would have won Riddick Bowe and Mike Tyson? Because no, Riddick Bowe wanted to fight Tyson.
I don't know. Riddick Bowe has a good I'm gonna say which Mike Tyson.
I'm talking about championship '80s short shorts, no socks Tyson.
I'm okay. Kevin Rooney's Mike Tyson,
Yeah.
then Mike Tyson.
Okay. What about Lennox Lewis and Riddick Bowe? What you think?
Uh, I think Riddick Bowe. Riddick Bowe's got a good chin. He tough, but then Lennox Lewis is versatile. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm. Hmm.
That brother is versatile.
Mm.
So that'd probably be a good fight.
Mm.
But Bowe is tough. He got that. I die for this shit, man. He got that attitude.
Oh man, it's a good conversation, man. Appreciate you calling, man. All right, so you named your top 5. All right, what about this right here?
Sure.
UFC versus boxing, pros and cons. You think UFC's catching boxing?
I think UFC is good. I've been watching UFC. I got the tapes of UFC 1 when the Gracies owned it.
Hmm.
So I've been watching UFC. UFC is good, but the fighters are not as developed in the hands, in the head movements, and the stamina, in my opinion, as well, hands, head movements, and chin as boxers. So shots that would, like, the shot Floyd Mayweather took from what's the guy he had to grab his arm, Sugar Shane.
Shane Moses. Yep.
That's career ending in UFC. If a UFC fighter got hit like Floyd got hit against Sugar Shane, they be out 2 or 3 months. They be out. You wouldn't see them fight again for a year. That would be their whole career. They can't get hit. They don't have any chin. They don't protect their face. They can't keep their hands up, and the punching power is just not there. Because they have.
What about? There's a couple fighters in UFC. Let me push back a little bit. What about Usman? You think
Usman, he
Usman could
got.
be a boxer?
I think he got hand power, but can he protect his head? Does he have the stamina to do 12 rounds? Can he take a shot?
Okay.
You
So,
know?
did you see? Did you hear about Anderson Silva? Just fought Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. and
How did
won.
that go? I didn't see it.
He did very well in his 40s, and he won.
Anderson Silva is great, man. Great.
He
That's a
showed
true
his
warrior, man.
he showed his movement. I thought he was gonna kick him at one point, but he didn't, and he
How
was
was his
slick.
hand? Did he carry his hands low or was he high or what?
Well, he had one hand low, the front hand, and he was slipping punches. He was hitting them with the jab. He had a good crossover.
Is he taller than Chavez Jr.?
Yeah, he was tall. He was pretty tall. Yeah.
Taller. Was he keeping him outside with the jab or was he getting inside?
He did it all, outside, inside. He had the stamina. They went 12 rounds.
Hey, man.
Big ups
Well,
to Anderson Silva.
Silva's a true warrior, but I don't blame, in my mind, I don't blame the UFC guys. When I say they're not as skilled, what I mean is they got to learn like 5 things. They got to learn how to box. They got to learn how to kick. They got to learn how to wrestle.
Hmm.
That's 3 things. All a boxer got to learn is them hands.
Right, right, right. I mean, I like the strikers, man. I definitely like the events. I wanted to go because I remember before everything opened, uh, UFC opened up in Jacksonville. I was trying to go see that. It was Masvidal Usman, and Usman knocked him to Cuba. Knocked him out. You know, and I wanted to see that. But yeah, I don't know. Jury's still out on the boxing though, but I definitely want. I am excited to see that one fight. I keep saying it, but I want to see Wilder get knocked out. That's what I want to see.
Uh, I used to love Wilder, man. So he was like, oh, man, come on, man. You from Alabama, you supposed to tell the truth. Look, he got me that time, man, but he ain't going to get me again.
Yep, yep, yep. So, all right, all right, can I ask you that? I think you answered all the questions. You're not a big basketball fan, are you?
I like the playoffs. I
Okay,
really like the finals. That's what I like.
okay. All right, man. But I appreciate. I'm probably gonna wrap up here, man. And thank you for coming on.
All
And
right, James Jr. says hello too as well. You
all right, man.
heard his name, he starts smiling. All right, bye-bye, man.
All right, talk. All right, man. Yes, yes. I'm gonna start wrapping up here, man. But definitely appreciate everybody getting on. It's fun. Fun conversation today. If you haven't hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and thanks for everybody out there. And I will talk to you another time.